We just saved our client over $100,000 by doing bookkeeping for her personal account. So here's the thing. If you have used your personal bank account for business expenses, let's be real, it happens. And no, I'm not going to give you a lecture on why you should be separating your business and personal accounts. We're going to move on from there. We all know we should be doing that. But if you accidentally use your personal account for business expenses, it might pay for you to take the time to do that bookkeeping. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you how to do it really quickly. So we did an entire year, 2021, worth of bookkeeping in under 3 hours. And I'm going to give you the tips, tools, and tricks so you can do the same. First, if you are new here, my name is Cheryl. My business partner Katrina and I own Empower to Profit, where we help entrepreneurs put more of their revenue into their personal account and save on your taxes. Anyhow, so the first thing to do if you have a massive catch up, so in the accounting bookkeeping world, a catch up means you have not categorized any of your income and expenses. So we had a catch up to do. We had to catch up all of 2021. So the first thing I did was I logged into the bank account and I saw how many transactions I could download. A lot of banks have a time frame in which you can download transactions, meaning they'll give it to you in a nice CSV file, which is like a comma delineated, it looks like an Excel file. In this case, we were allowed to download anything for the previous, I think, 18 months. So I was allowed to download from April 15th of 2021 all the way into December 31st of 2021, which was great. And that's the first step. And that was a huge bulk of transactions. But I still had January until April 14th to download. So the way I handled that was I was able to copy it and paste it into an Excel file. And then I saved it as a comma delineated spreadsheet. Why? Because QuickBooks Online does not recognize an Excel file, but they will recognize a comma delineated spreadsheet. So once I was able to save all of those transactions into that comma delineated spreadsheet, say that 3 times fast, I was able to upload them into QuickBooks, which is the accounting software we utilize. Here's the truth. When you upload transactions this way, especially such a bulk of them, I did over 1,000 transactions for the entire 2021, there's a great opportunity for an error to occur. But I have a tip and tricks to make it manageable and not the end of the world. Okay, so once you upload your transactions, and in order to upload those transactions, you are going to want to go to the gear icon, hit plus, hit upload, and then there's a spot on the left-hand side where you can upload that file. And then it's going to ask you a couple questions on what your spreadsheet looks like. And your spreadsheet will look different depending on how your bank saves those transactions. Okay, now that you have uploaded your file, the next step is, I'm going to be real, it is beyond overwhelming. When I saw 1,000 transactions in there, I wanted to cry. We're a big component of spending 5 minutes or less a day to do a bookkeeping every single day. That way you never have 1,000 transactions at once because it's overwhelming. And truthfully, I don't want you to have a week of transactions at once or even a month full because it takes more time and it's more stressful. So pro tip, don't get in this scenario and do your bookkeeping for 5 minutes a day. But anyhow, if you find yourself in this scenario, this is what you do. You are going to then segment the dates. So I only wanted to look at January, my first date that I had to be done, because it took it from 1,000 transactions down to a much more manageable number. The next pro tip I have is sort your transactions by description. This way, like transactions will be next to each other and it makes categorizing them easy. Real quick, all bookkeeping is categorizing your income and expenses. And then you reconcile the account on the simplest form. That's what bookkeeping is. So I went in and I sorted the description so I would have like ones next to each other. And I categorized all my transactions except for the checks. I saved those for last. Then after all my transactions were categorized, and here's another thing, don't overcomplicate it, keep it simple. Okay, so once all those transactions were categorized, I then went into my bank and I searched for the check numbers that were ranging in January. So whatever that range was, I put in a search into my bank statement and I was able to pull up those checks and I could easily categorize them. Next, here's the important thing. You do not want to reconcile a year worth of transactions at a time, because if there's a single error, it makes it a lot harder to find. So reconcile your bank account each month. So then I went in and I reconciled January. And truth be told, there was some duplicate transactions. Remember, as I said, uploading your transactions doesn't make it perfect. It needs to be scrubbed. So reconcile it monthly. It's much easier to identify the mistakes when you do it month by month rather than doing it bulk months. So in this case, there were some duplicate transactions, so I was able to go in and exclude and or delete them, right? And how I knew they were duplicates is I compared it to the bank statement. I wanted to see where we were off. That's all reconciliation is comparing your accounting software to that bank statement. And I then went ahead and did this same exact process for each subsequent month. And that is how I was able to reconcile over 1,000 transactions in under 3 hours and get all of 2021 bookkeeping done. And in this client's case, it's going to save her over $100,000 on taxes because she used her personal account in 2021 for over $100,000 of business transactions. So I urge you, make sure that if you accidentally use your personal account for business, that you add that to your accounting software because you don't want to lose off on those tax deductions. So thank you for hanging out today. If you found this video helpful, we do tips, tools, and tricks every Tuesday. We love to hang out with you. If you could hit that subscribe button and comment down below and let us know if you are up to date on your bookkeeping.